Alright, so boom. The big coming Carlos said he had a lit pregame and I could pull up on him. Tryna roll. For real? Bet. Pull up to the pregame. Yeah. Pull up to the pregame. Pull up. Pull up. Pull up. Pull up. Hey. Pull up to the pregame. Yeah. Pull up to the pregame. Pull up. Pull up. Pull up. Pull up. Hey. Catch a vibe, come and meet the team. Come and kick it with your fave 3. Chop it with us, come and join the stream. Trust me, y'all, it's must see. It's a culture party if you partaking. Hottest podcast, it ain't no debating. It's ringing off cause it's so engaging. Let's keep it tall. You won't find this on no other page. This kind of talk, this kind of cloth right here is tailor-made. What up, Lo? Tryna have fun, we the plug then. It's for the people so the culture win. Need an outlet, then tap in. Come tap in. We keep it fresh with the content. We even got Bash Stop from Carolina Blitz. And Shot from P&P, they're a perfect fit. Cause what's the point of a pregame if it ain't lit? It's lit, it's lit, it's lit.
Yo, welcome back to the pregame podcast, special edition on a Friday. Super Bowl's right around the corner. We got a special one for y'all today. So you know we lit, we live, and while y'all at it, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I got a special one for y'all today. All right, I'm excited. I wasn't going to do it today, but it's the Super Bowl around the corner, and it just made sense. And we have a extremely special guest in the house today. I see a lot of people already saying they pulling up in the comments. I love it. Make sure y'all pull up. We already got a lot of people in here already. This is live. We get to have a conversation with, some people say arguably, but I say he is definitely the best nose tackle that ever touched the grass on the NFL, in the NFL Football League. Straight up, hands down. And when we're down, we're excited to speak with him on today. If you don't know who Ted Washington is, do your Googles. Because this man is the truth, right? 4-time Pro Bowler, first team All-Pro, second team All-Pro, Super Bowl champion. And we get to talk with him and hear his perspective of what it's like to play in the Super Bowl. Everybody's going to be watching the Super Bowl this weekend. I'm excited. But if you don't know who he is, watch this quick flip.
Can the Dolphins smell what the Bills are cooking? We're about to lay up the smack of downer at one Bills drive.
I don't know about y'all, but I'm excited. Ted, how's it going, man?
Everything's cool, brother. Everything's cool. And that's the first time you call me Ted. Watch your mouth now.
I knew he was gonna call
All
me
right.
out. I knew, I usually have a Mr. in front of that. So I'm gonna continue that because out of respect, I've been doing that for years. And it felt weird that came out of my mouth. But Mr. Ted,
we go way back. We go way back.
Mr. Ted, how long have we known each other?
How old are you now?
I'm 33.
So you had to be a young chap. It has to be at least 20-something.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least 20-something years.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like he was one of mine.
Absolutely. I felt like I was one of yours for sure.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Ted, first off, it's an honor, it's a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining me on this interview today. I know I talked about who you are and what you've done in NFL, and I'm gonna give you your flowers towards the end. But I just want to say that knowing you outside of football has been absolutely amazing, and it just to me speaks to how strong of a man and the character that you have. But when you're on that football field, you are a mean. Shut your mouth. You hear me?
I ain't got time to be messing around. Get it done. I don't want to all that celebrating and all that, you know, the hoop hopping and all that before the game is over with.
Yeah,
It comes back on you. And I don't play that. Let's when the clock hits 0, go home and then do what you got to do. But while you're on that field, this is a business.
yeah. So walk me through, like, how did you played 4 sports in high school? You ran
Yes.
track, baseball, wrestling, and football, which is a lot, right? But when you started football, did you start at nose tackle, or were you playing a different position?
No. If you go back to my days, way back in the days, I was playing offense and defensive lineman. And coming out of high school, I was all state in Florida, offense and defensive lineman. And for me, when you mentioned about the 4 sports, it's the way it was in Florida. You don't find something to do, you're going to end up in jail, dead, or in a gang. So I stayed active. And so that's why whenever a sport came around, as soon as one is over with, I jump into another one. So it was football, then I went to wrestling and baseball, and then track and field. Now, when you say track and field, I didn't run. I did the shot putting the discus. But to add on to that, my goals were to, by the senior year, to be the best I can be in each sport.
Mhm.
So the only sport I failed in, I ain't call it fail, but was baseball because I had a lot of competition. Players like back in the day, like Gary Sheffield and Derek Bell and Dwight Gooden. Those are my competition. And plus I pretty much taught myself how to play the game. But other than that, I was successful in all the rest of them, being state champion, being first team all state, and making it to states and track and fields, all those good things. And the rest is pretty much history.
Yeah. When did you know, like, you know what? I can go far in this football thing. You know, with running, like you said, you were staying active, staying out of what was going on in Tampa. But when you have these 4 sports, you can finally say, you know what? Like, I'm actually pretty good at this football thing. Let me take it serious. And the fact that you self-taught yourself is amazing to me, first off. But walk me through that.
Well, I didn't take it serious because back in my days in the 80s, the dope game was really, really strong, and you had every opportunity to sell it, use it, the whole 9. Um, I was set on going to the military, quite as kept. I wanted to be a Marine. I was there. But when you got coaches that's, sticking to you, say, hey, man, you got something bigger than that. So by the junior year, I walked around school telling everybody I'm college material. And that's when all the offers and all that stuff came in. And I learned my technique. Most of it come from wrestling. And when I say put the hammer down, and plus the way I grew up, it was hard. So I had to break that generational curse of not wanting to be average or sell drugs or be on that corner. And that happened.
Mhm.
And I was successful in accomplishing all that.
That's amazing. So you get to Louisville. You had an amazing college career, and then you get to draft day, right? And you were drafted first round, pick 25. And NFL has said that you are the best first round pick 25 in the history of the NFL. It's an article. They said that you are the best pick at pick 25 in the history of NFL. Walk me through that draft day process. Talking
Okay,
to teams, I know it's different now, but
before I can get to the draft, let me tell you this. I chose the University of Louisville over every school in Florida because every school in Florida want to give me a scholarship. I never left the state of Florida, so I wanted to leave. And
Mm.
the first visit I took was Louisville, and they made sure I wasn't going back to Tampa. And I didn't look back and see what myself. I'm always that type of guy. Starts from the bottom. I don't care who the team is. Start from the bottom and accomplish, climb that ladder and be successful. So when I left U of L, ended up being Fiesta Bowl champions, beating Alabama back in the day, and then come around for the draft time. I was supposed to be in the top 10,
Mm.
but quiet is kept. So hey, it was one person said one thing, and then all it takes is one person to mess you up.
Yeah.
Mel Kiper, but don't tell nobody. And yeah, and so I dropped. I dropped in the draft, but I dropped to a good team,
Yeah.
and it was tough, but it was the Niners because they was on that roll after winning their Super Bowls, but made my name for myself after I left them when I got traded,
Oh, yeah.
and
For
yeah,
sure.
man, it's that draft day is tough. Um, you don't want to get labeled uncoachable player, because that'll hurt these guys in the draft. And then let's fast forward to the Super Bowl, was that the
Oh, yeah.
question?
No. We will get to the Super Bowl. So that's
Oh, okay.
perfect. So it's interesting that you say that because I think we see that with a lot of like newer players, and people think. And here's my question for you: it's context before the question, but we've seen this with a lot of players. For an example, Jalen Carter from the Eagles, he was supposed to be really, really high. Word got around that something happened, and then he drops down. He drops down. Is that usually a strategic move that some teams do to get a player that they want? Or is that just really analysts going out there throwing things out that may not necessarily be true?
That's analysts don't know what the hell they're talking about on a lot of players,
Okay.
and teams would not corner you like that or sabotage you like that. No, I'm living proof of that because a couple of things Mel Kiper said, and it was more to it because that's when Jimmy Johnson was the coach for Dallas. I was
Mhm.
supposed to go to Dallas, and the
Interesting.
person that messed up my draft was you probably don't know him, Rocket Ismail.
No, I don't.
Rocket Ismail was supposed to have been the number one pick during my draft, 91 draft. He went to Notre Dame.
Mhm.
So Rocket Ismail jumped ship and went to Canada. Canada unloaded a boatload for him. And so now my draft got screwed around, and then all of a sudden, like, oh God, who we gonna pick? So Dallas had that first pick, and they ended up taking Russell Melvin from Miami. And if you talk a lot of crap, like players from Miami,
Mm-hmm.
that's what they want. So, and plus Jimmy Johnson coming from there, so he snatched him. And during my time of negotiation, I was at my agent house. I got a phone call, 11 pick coming up, and was asked, "We got this set amount for you."
Mm.
And I'm like, well, I thought we was going to negotiate. I thought, you negotiate and see who gets what. Like, nope, this is it. I'm like, no. So drop further. But if you go
Mm.
back and do your history, all the guys that was D lineman that was picked with me, I outlasted all of them. I think I got more Pro Bowls than all of them, the whole nine.
Talk your
So
talk. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so rookie year, one thing that I hear about a lot of rookies is they have that welcome to the NFL moment. And that moment could be in the practice field, it could be in the game, but it's basically something that happens to them that wakes them up like, oh, we ain't in Kansas anymore. What was that like welcome to the NFL moment for you?
when it's treated as a business, it's
Mm.
not college, because college you get everything for free. You mess up, go back to your dorm room, come back to practice. NFL, mess up, there's a bus ticket.
Mm.
Take it easy. We'll find somebody else to replace you because you're a major investment for us now, and there's no room for error. And then the flip side to that also, you have veterans guys that at your position They will sabotage you also.
Wow.
That was part of my rookie year, even though I give a lot of those guys credit because one, they're Super Bowl champions, and but as a rookie I should have played a lot, but didn't happen. But
Hmm.
I made up for it. So as my years went on, I learned to be humble and teach any guy at my position how to play the position in case I fall. And there's a handful of guys out there became Pro Bowlers. Not saying it was because of me, but teach them what you know, and they can go a long way.
That's awesome. I think a lot of players have experienced the feeling of being traded to a different team, right? And you were traded, if I'm not mistaken, from the 49ers to the Broncos.
Yes,
So
that's the wake up call.
talk to me about that.
That was the and that, oh God, let me calm down. I was on the operating table
Mm,
because I broke my leg in the NFC Championship game against Dallas. They didn't think I recovered from that. So after the season was over with, I goes to get surgery. My agent comes there, tell him to stop the surgery. He's been traded. And to me, that was a slap in the face.
wow.
And to this day, I have not been back to any functions with the 49ers because I'm like, y'all didn't give me a chance. So that's when I swapped my numbers,
Mhm.
became 98 in Denver. And then I said, now it's time to take this serious as a business, make a name for yourself. Let's find another number you never had. That's when 92 came to play. And I didn't look back
Yeah.
ever since then. So every defense I've been on over my career has been in the top 5 or top 10, wherever I've been. So people's like, oh, you played this many teams. Yeah, every team I played for, I started and I made sure we was ranked high every year. So that was a major goal for me.
I love it. So one thing that a lot of the pregame podcast audience knows, I love Kobe, right? Love Kobe Bryant. And it was something that switched for him. It was like the defining moment where he went from 8 to 24. And I think like that was your defining moment of going from 96 or 97 to 92. And from there, it was, you were a force to be reckoned with when you joined that. So, and correct me if I'm wrong, I did my Googles, I've been doing my research, but Wade Phillips was at Denver at that time. And then he
Yes,
went over to Buffalo.
Buffalo.
And I'm very curious because we don't see this as fans where a coach leaves and has that conversation and says, "Oh, you coming? I want you with me." Like, did that happen with Wade? Because I know you knew the system and you were the perfect nose tackle for a 3-4 defense. Did he pull you? Did he kind of like sway you to join him?
It was a little bit, but it was more of once I got comfortable with the 3-4, because that's 3-4 I started at with Denver.
Mm,
Um, in San Francisco, we ran like a 5-2, but I
okay.
still played the nose guard and I played the tackle and I played the end because I was a small guy then. And but sitting there talking with him, and before I get on that, um, his father, you heard of his father? Who his father
Yes.
is? His father's Bum Phillips. My dad played for Bum Phillips.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
I did
my
not know
father was
that.
was a NFL 11 year for the Houston Oilers 59, and Bum Phillips was his coach. And Wade Phillips ended up being my head coach. So, that was part of my,
Full
let
circle.
me, yes, let me jump on this wagon and keep going. And I think that was a great move for me to go to Buffalo. And, he know how to coach a defense. He was a hell of a coordinator. And that's why I fit and pretty much made my name.
So this is a random question. But why isn't Wade Phillips in NFL right now? Like
I
why
don't know.
I'm shocked. Like as good of a coach he is, especially from a defensive standpoint, and I feel as though he could at least be a defensive coordinator.
Personally, he's a hell of a defensive coordinator. Head coach, I can't give him that because, he's kind of soft. But as a defensive coordinator, he would have you in check.
Mm.
But he put in his years. Wade got a lot of years on his belt. I think he ended up getting the Super Bowl. And then he's still coaching that new league, XFL or whatever the new league. So he's doing, and he got a championship with that. So he accomplished a lot. But it's time in the NFL, they're moving people in and out, and it's no more like a buddy system now. And he understands the game, but as long as he get his chips and winning, that's all that matters.
Yeah, for sure. No, shout out to Wade Phillips. So you got the nickname Mount Washington. Do you remember who gave you that nickname? And was that your favorite nickname that you got in NFL? Or do you have one that you were like, I kind of rock with that one more?
Well, I don't. Chris Berman.
He's the one that gave you Mount Washington?
Yeah, it was more of the circular wagon around Mount Washington. Yeah, I think it was Chris Berman gave me that.
That's what's that stuck. That stuck. Like everybody knows you as Mount Washington.
Well, the way he says it, and it is really catching, and how his voice is. Yeah.
So once you shifted to that 92 and you really locked in, did you start to become a trash talker? Like now that you knew that like people really were locking in on you and making sure that they were stopping you. Like it was real to me. It seems like early in your career, you got a double team pretty fast.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like a one-on-one often.
I wasn't a trash talker, but if I talk trash, it'll be to the teams in our conference.
Okay.
So for Buffalo, it was New England, Miami, the Jets, and it was one more team. But those was the teams that I'm hyped up for, because you want to win your division or whatever. And those were the guys. And if you did history on them, each one of those teams went out and spent a lot of money on a center. If you go back, all of those teams had first-round centers, or they spent a boatload of money just to try to block me.
Was this
and each one of them
in Buffalo?
Yep. Yep. I can name all of them, and they all made a boatload of money. But single blocking, you're wasting your time. You better bring two for me. And but yeah, that was exciting. That was exciting.
So the teams that you hated to go against was all the teams in your division. Like those division games were the ones that you were like really like you
play them. You play them twice a year, so you got to get them.
Absolutely.
That's why. Yeah,
I love
got to get them.
So that defensive line at Buffalo was something serious. And everyone,
yes, we were.
Yes, y'all were. Everyone highlights Bruce Smith, right? But I don't think like people, the casual fan will highlight Bruce Smith, but the people who know little football realize that you were taking two people and he was stunting a lot where you were to get those sacks. Am I correct?
Yes, absolutely. Now, with Bruce, he knew, but he ain't going to tell it. He my boy and all, but he ain't going to tell it. But he knew. He finally told me after he retired, and I think after I retired, we met up on a plane together, and he turned back. We were in first class. He turned around. He said, "Man, I really appreciate the way you played. You was a hell of a player." And I looked at him like, "Whoa, you giving me props?" But he never did it in Buffalo. And then even though I got a new contract in Buffalo, and it was bigger than his, he went and cried about that, because I'm the man that stops here and starts here. I was like, man, I don't care. I'm just here to play. Mm-hmm. But with that front we had at 3-4, I felt more, I ain't gonna say more comfortable. I felt more comfortable playing with the other defensive end, because he was underrated, but he got the job done, Phil Hansen. And then people don't know Bruce Smith. Yeah, he did his thing with all his sacks, but Bruce Smith liked to freelance. And you better not say nothing to him. And that's how it was. I hate to put the coaches on the spot because they didn't say nothing to him, but I'll let him have it. Yo, dog, that's not the defense. We got to stop the run first. All that's going inside and then covering you, no, I ain't doing that no more. So he earned my respect. I earned his respect. And we had fun. But the only problem was when that defense started ranking high, our offense wasn't kicking like they used to do when they was running the K gun that got them to them Super Bowls. And that's what hurt us in getting back to
Yeah.
the Super Bowl.
Before we get to Super Bowl, I want to talk about the Pro Bowl. Your first Pro Bowl nod was in '97 with the Bills, right?
Yep.
What was it like getting that first Pro Bowl nod of like everyone realizing the work that you put in and you are a Pro Bowler?
Well, see, that there should have been a Pro Bowler before my first Pro Bowler. How about, let me see if that's the easy way to say it. Because they know who are the better players, but Pro Bowl is also a budget system also. When I say that, that means if you make it to the Pro Bowl, that group of brothers there, hey, make sure your team vote for me so I can come back and we can come back the next year. So, yes, I'm
Wow.
putting everybody on blast
Wow.
because I don't care. So you earn your Pro Bowl before your first Pro Bowl, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then after that, like the second and third, yeah. So you see all these guys with all these 10 and 12 Pro Bowls, please, no. Even your Warren Sapp, no. Because he made the Pro Bowl and he only played one game one season. But see, nobody want to talk about that.
Yeah.
But I'll tell them.
Popularity contest.
Yeah. Popularity, that's the word right there. Your buddy, you watch my back, I watch yours.
So when you got to that first Pro Bowl, what was the experience like? Because now the Pro Bowl is a flag football game, but back then y'all were playing.
No, you only played in the fourth quarter. The reason for that is because you get paid for the Pro Bowl. Let's say back in my day, the winner got, let's say the winner got 50,000. Each player got at least 50,000, and the loser got 30. Based on the score, you start playing super hard just to get that bigger check. And that's the only time we took the Pro Bowl serious. It's in the fourth quarter. Now, this crap they're doing now, they better off putting on flag football the thing is in.
Yeah. I mean, that's what they're doing now. It's the flag. They have flag football now, and it's interesting. It gets kind of competitive towards the end, but it's definitely different from when you were in the league and y'all had the helmets and pads on.
Well, you just said at the end.
At the end, yeah.
Based on what the score is, that's when they play hard to try to get the bigger check.
Yeah. Who was your favorite teammate to play with based on like your game and how all that went? So who, like, is it one that you were like, I enjoyed playing with them, maybe because they played the right way, maybe because when you had that double team, they truly capitalized on it? Was there one player that you're like, that was my guy when we're on the field?
Well, on my team, it was Pat Williams, because we played side by side. And I was 92, he was 93, and they call us the package. And so you couldn't double team both of us. So whenever we ran a 4-3, he helped me get freed up to my single blocks again. But other than that, that's who I hung out with. Him and Ruben Brown was offensive guard, who was a hell of a player also. He had a lot of those Pro Bowls. And but yeah, those two guys, probably blessed. And Phil Hansen didn't hang out with anybody. He was a country boy from Iowa or Idaho, one of them states. But those two, yeah.
Okay.
And nobody hung out with Bruce.
Nobody. Oh, that is hilarious. Okay, so I'm gonna get into the Super Bowl, but before I do, I want to talk about the Panthers currently because they run a 3-4, and we are in a dire need of a legit nose tackle. And my question to you, Mr. Ted, is what constitutes an elite nose tackle to you? Like, what makes a nose tackle truly a nose tackle in the NFL?
One, leverage. You got to have leverage. And when I teach it, I tell these chaps, leverage, hands, ass, and hips. If you good between all those, that's how you make your money. It's your hands your hips, and your ass and leverage, and that's it.
Mm.
And if you know how to do that and move your feet, you can be successful. I think I need to talk with them over there and see if they need somebody to teach those nose tackles. I got some inside people over there, and yeah, I could be a liaison, a
I
few
think that needs
pointers.
to happen.
Yeah,
That's gotta
I
happen.
didn't realize because I don't watch football as much.
Yeah.
But now you bringing that up like that, I'm saying okay, I can
Yeah.
give you a few pointers.
This needed because we didn't have a legit nose tackle. Like you were when you were in the NFL, you were 6'5", 365, I'm not mistaken, right?
That was one of the weights.
One of So yeah, you're around that, right? The nose tackle that played this year wasn't around that. And now what we're seeing is they're starting to either scout or show interest in these bigger nose tackles around your size, right? So I definitely think, yeah, you talk to the Panthers for real.
It's going to be hard because I probably was the tallest nose guard. All right. So most of your nose guards are little
6'2",
short guys.
like 6'2" or under, right?
Yeah. So I had to be one of the tallest, but it's all about that leverage. And by them being a little bowling ball, they should be able to get the job done. But if you can't hold the weight or anchor, then they're going to roll you up out of there.
Yeah.
But it's all about the hands.
The
So I'm not going to give out any more pointers to them because they're going to pick up on that. Like, wait a minute. Yeah, no, you come on here. I told you. So show you everything you need to know.
There you go. The hands piece. Did wrestling help you with that?
Yes.
Mm.
Wrestling help with the hands and the leverage. And with these kids I teach at the high school level, I don't care how big they are.
Yeah.
You put your hands out on somebody before they can touch you, you win half the battle.
Mm.
And that's the key. And it carries over to the NFL too.
Yeah.
But now they don't teach that anymore at college or the NFL. They just let them go.
Mm.
And that's, you got to have technique.
Yeah. And I feel like with your size, being as tall as you are and as big, you were athletic. You could move. And I think that's the difference too. Because I think people, and this is me looking with a casual fan's eye, but I don't think people expected that you were going to be that quick, that powerful, and can move like that.
Early on in the Buffalo years, let me tell you when I started getting slow. After that first Pro Bowl.
Really?
You couldn't tell me nothing. That's when I start adding on the weight. Like, well, I'm going back because I'm gonna do the same thing everybody else did. But few of my Pro Bowls, no, most of them I earned. One may have been a gimme, but the rest of them I earned in that buddy system. And man, look, when I knew I can handle somebody or how to play them, and they couldn't, and they hadn't figured it out, that's when I started gaining weight and just start cruising from then on. But man,
I'm good. I got it.
It was all about the leverage. They couldn't do nothing with it.
Yeah, I love it. So you go to the Patriots. You sign with the Patriots. You with Bill Belichick. Is he a completely different coach compared to what you had, in all the other teams? Because a lot of people, you hear a lot of stories from other players talk about how Bill coached and how serious he was, the Patriot way. Walk me through like your experience with Bill.
Well, let's go back when I signed with the Patriots.
Okay.
I got traded to the Patriots.
I didn't know that.
I was with Chicago. After I left the Bills, I was with Chicago. I ended up winning a Pro Bowl with Chicago, and I got an Iron Man. It's not Iron Man. What's the guy name? Howie Long, Tough Man.
Yeah. Tough Man.
Remember that?
Yep.
You win a free truck.
Yep.
If he chose you. So I won that. And then come to find out I'm getting traded. I'm like, wait a minute, you come off Pro Bowl, winning the Tough Man, but I know who that was that got me up out of there. It was the GM. And I got traded to New England. And me and Belichick talked that first day. He said, well, I know you don't want to be here. I said, no, coach, it ain't about that. It's just the way how things went down because I was on my way to the music store to get some music, and it was preseason to pick up some CDs, which y'all don't know what that is.
Oh, I know about CDs now.
And then I found out I get traded before we got on the plane. I'm like, what? All right, I got something for you. So meeting with Belichick, and then he's straightforward. He said, "This is what I'm telling the press. Simple as that. You can say whatever you want, but I'm letting you know this is what I'm going to say." And then the game plans and his coordinators. When I say he made my career so easy, it was, man. Look, I should have stayed in New England after that Super Bowl, but the money part what messed that up. And it wasn't like I was being greedy. It's just the way how they treated me. Because one, I was the oldest player, one of the oldest linemen, and then the GM was like, "Well, we don't think he's worth that much." And so I said, "Well, leave it on to after the Super Bowl. We'll just whatever." And somebody offered me triple the amount as an old guy, and I took it. I said, "Well, I got my Super Bowl, so I don't need nothing else." But as for being coached under him, his scheme, they made it so easy and simple. And that's something I wish I would have had early on in my career, the way they did it. So when I tell people about how the game plan went for them, it's like you get a cheat sheet, but you won't get in trouble. That's how they laid out the game. That's how they laid out the game plan. Yeah. It's like a cheat sheet. Go take your exam, but you don't get in trouble. And it's right on point. Everything was right on point. So come game day, man, this is actually what he said. Boom, 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 boom. So most of these games, I was done at halftime. Because once the run was shut down, and you know how Brady put up points, they were trying to pass and get back into it. Like, Ted, you can take your stuff off. And I was on the sideline cutting my tape off. That's how easy it was in New England. And the owner, first class, everything first class. And Romeo Cornell was the D coordinator. I mean, I wish I would have spent most of my years there.
Yeah.
Because I was supposed to have about 4 Super Bowl rings.
For sure. What was it like playing with Tom?
Tom is a great guy. People can say what they want to say about Tom. He's a good guy, down to earth. Even though they labeled him as the man, but he didn't walk around like that. He didn't walk around like that. But he was good. He's good people.
That defense was good as well. Like who were some of the teammates that you say like you like playing with Phil Hansen in Buffalo? Who was a player you like to play with in New England?
My guys in New England were the linebackers.
Bruschi?
Yes, sir. When I say bring the funk, he bringing it. We had Ted Johnson, we had Roman Pfeiffer, and I ain't got nothing against him. Willie McGinnis, but let me leave that alone. But yeah, but that Bruschi, now he's one of those guys. He will play for nothing. So he wasn't into contracts and all. He did negotiate his own stuff. But it's like, if I play well, pay me well.
Yeah.
And that's how he was, that type of guy. So you didn't catch him all in, getting caught up in contracts and all that. He go out there and lay it on the line.
That's a bad boy.
Yes, sir. There's people about it, man.
Him or Urlacher. Could you play with Urlacher too?
Oof.
You play with Urlacher.
Don't make me pick, man.
If you had to pick your linebacker that's behind you, Bruschi or Urlacher, what you doing? Really?
Bruschi. You heard it.
Okay.
And it got silent. And why I say that, I respect Lack, and he do his thing. He's just fast. He's just fast, and you can't touch him. So my job was somewhat easy with him because he knows when I got that double team, if you're not going to take him off me, go make the play.
Yeah.
And he's already in the backfield making the play.
Yeah.
So that's the key when you run that 3-4 or the 4-3. If you see a lineman get double teamed, linebacker job is to take him off or go make the play. And 90% of the time, he's hauling tail in the backfield, go and get the play. And he was fast. Now, mind you, people don't remember, Urlacher was a safety. He was at a safety in college. And they bumped him down to linebacker. So that's why he's one of the fastest linebackers during his time. So, yeah. But Bruschi, he coming in there, he going to war. I get him. Man.
So let's talk about Super Bowl. What was that like, the Super Bowl prep? Were you nervous? This being your first Super Bowl, Were you nervous going into the game, or was it kind of like it's another day, another game, let's do it?
The only nervous part is the championship game, the NFC AFC championship game.
Mm-hmm.
That's the part. That's the one you got the monkey on your back, and you like, man, we got to get this. Because I played in two of those back in my rookie year, and then my second year with San Francisco, and we failed. But this time around, after we beat, I think it was Houston, or who was that? McNair, one of them, or Peyton Manning, one of those we knocked off, and getting there. But come game time, you had to go in with the attitude of, hey, it's not just another game, but it's
Yep.
another game.
Mm-hmm.
But what got us through that one is the night before of how Belichick prepped us for that game.
Mm.
Now, nobody know about this, but I'm gonna get it to you anyway.
Ooh, pre-game exclusive.
Belichick, we have our meetings, and before that, we stayed. You know, you have your family in town. We left our family at one hotel, and we loaded up on another bus. We took our 4 or 5 buses, left the family, and went to another secret hotel. So nobody knew where we were.
Mm-hmm.
Get us around out of the way of everybody. That night, not a dry eye in that room. What got everybody hyped up was he played the clips of a horse called Seabiscuit. I don't know if you ever seen that movie
Yeah.
or you heard about that horse. Or your pops know about that.
Oh yeah.
When he played that, so you sitting there like, well, how are we going to learn something from this horse? He gave you the history of that horse and how that horse came around that corner,
Mm-hmm.
and left everybody. And that's the attitude you had.
Mm.
And I'm about to get hyped up now, calm down, boy. That was 30 years ago, leave it alone. But that game day, and if you find that clip, you see me because who we played? Panthers.
Yep.
They was talking trash. They came out before the game started trying to start a fight.
Who was talking? Do you remember who it was?
I don't recall who it was, but I ended up snatching all our guys. But hey, I said, this right here telling you right now they're scared.
Mm.
For them to come and try to provoke stuff with us, back down. We don't need it. They're scared. They are scared. Panthers didn't want no part of us because what got Panthers to the Super Bowl that year was they were known for running the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Running the ball, and that's how they got the Super Bowl. Because we didn't study Jake Delhomme.
I was gonna ask who'd you study? Who were the people that y'all really solely focused on?
Our whole film sessions was the run game. Because they didn't throw the ball too much. Even though they had Steve Smith,
Mm-hmm.
with nothing. Didn't nothing. It was all about those two running backs. I was finished before halftime. People go, oh, that was a close game. That wasn't a close game. We missed field goals, and then we end up relaxing, or we got a couple of secondary guys injured, and that's when the Panthers started throwing the ball. They didn't run no more. They started throwing the ball, and what got them and kept them in that game.
Wow. What was
But the feeling?
Yeah, that
Not
feeling.
to cut you off, the feeling of being a Super Bowl champion, one on top of the world, nobody can take it away from you. So I know what both of those teams are going through of being the best in the world. People say, oh, just in the United States. No, in the world, because ain't nobody in the world can compete at this level or want any of this if they put a team together.
Mm-hmm.
So when I tell these kids, anytime you get involved in a championship game, make the most of it.
Mm.
Make the most of it because nobody else can do what you just did. But Brady did it 7 times. Ben to 10.
No,
yeah, man.
That's dope, man. I remember when that happened. And like it was such a hard game because like we were rooting for you, but we were Panther fans as well, right? Well, I'm a Panthers fan, so I'm like, you know, it is what it is. And I remember, and it's the thumbnail of this picture when you won and they had you on the screen and you had your hands up. Like that feeling, I can only imagine like how that feel after all the work, all the years getting close or injuries, trades, all these things happen and you finally made it to that mountaintop.
Paid
It's
off.
amazing.
When I say paid off, because like you said, all the stuff I've been through, the trades, it was more for me with the trades. When I got traded from Chicago and getting size for my ring, like I probably can't do this on camera. So I'm gonna do this here.
That's one you picked.
You know which one that is,
Yes, sir.
right? That's where my Super Bowl ring is. And if he comes, because get down. Yeah. That's why I chose that one. Nobody knows that, but that's why I chose that particular finger, because I wanted all the people that doubted
Mm-hmm.
to see.
Yeah.
I'm world champion.
Was that the chip on your shoulder that you kept to help you play with such aggression? Is like remembering all the doubters.
Oh,
Okay.
big time. Well, it was more when I got trade, because trade is to me is a slap in the face. Let's say that. And then if they don't tell you about it, you got to find out. I found out through my wife. I got traded. That's how bad it was with Chicago.
Wow.
She called me saying, "Are you all right?" I'm like, "What you mean?" I'm at the store and I get my CDs to get ready to load up on the. Oh, you've been traded. What? We got a game tomorrow. And I sprinted back to the facilities. Police was standing there at guard. I said, I said, "Know what? Go home."
Mm-hmm.
And that's when my agent called me. I said, "I just turn around, go home." And all my stuff was already packed up and shipped to New England.
And the rest was history.
The rest was history.
I love it. So we're going to close this interview with one thing that we always do at the pregame podcast, and that's called a starting lineup. It's usually like a top 5 of something, right? My question for you is, what is your top 5 of your favorite plays you made in your career?
Top 5 plays, meaning like
top 5 plays that you did, that you made.
If there's any great plays for me, is tackle for losses or goal line stands that wins the game. Safeties. I've gotten safeties. Those are highlights for me.
Yeah.
And it's, being a nose run stopper, they're not expecting you to get a sack. I just got a picture that I blew up. Give me a second.
Yeah.
Get the camera right. Get the camera right.
Oh, yeah.
That sack against Dan Marino, I would cherish that. Because he was one of those elusive guys that you can't bring down. But yeah, getting sacks against all the Hall of Fame quarterbacks.
Yeah. Brett Favre.
Brett, Peyton.
You got an interception on Peyton.
Yep.
You didn't run, but you got an interception on Peyton.
See, that's the other thing about interceptions. What happens when you get an interception? Offense go back on the field.
Yeah.
Then you got to turn around and if you keep running and score, you going right back on the field.
Right.
No, sir. I'm getting to the ground, call it a day.
What about the Barry Sanders tackle? Because Barry Sanders was elusive as crap, and you got him in the backfield.
You had to figure Barry out. And I got pictures showing that one looked like he shook me.
Yeah.
And then the next clip, me leveling him, because I said, okay, I figured that out. Because he will make you break your ankles. He was that good. But, one game he can have 200 yards, next game he can have 3 yards.
Depending on the offensive line, too. The offensive line was terrible. But what was it like leveling him the way you did? Like, I've seen the picture. It's highly impressive to get Barry the way you did.
Because you had to time him. You have to, because you knew Barry's going to shake one way he gonna do his shaking,
Mm-hmm.
and 90% of the guys gonna follow him, and that's where they get embarrassed.
Mm-hmm.
That quick pause, he shook one way, and I waited, and he ran right back into me, and I put a hit on his little.
Was that like number one play for you right there?
It's more the quarterbacks for me
Okay.
because I wasn't a sack master.
You got 34 and a half in the career. As a nose tackle, as somebody who was at your size, double teamed majority of the game, if not all the game, 34 and a half sounds great to me, big dog.
Well, not well. You got your defensive ends that making all these sacks and all that stuff, and everybody's in the at least 50 and close to the hundreds. But I did my share, so
I appreciate you being humble, and I'm gonna talk that talk for you because I think the way that I look at it with nose tackles, you either have a nose tackle who is a one-trick pony, right? Somebody who is a run stuffer, and that's what he does. Somebody who is a pretty elite rusher, pass rusher. That's what they do. But for you, you were so well-rounded. You could do it all. And even if they did have a double team on you, you were breaking that. And I think when it comes down to the 3-4, you know, sometimes I always look at it and I'm looking at 3-4, and this is somebody who, like I said, is a casual fan. I'm not saying that I'm any type of ball expert by any means, but that nose tackle position to me with a 3-4 is one of the most important positions because that
it's
sets
all
up for
built
everything
around
else.
the nose guard. It's all built around the nose tackle. Yep.
And so if you got
If he's weak, you can cancel Christmas and run a 4-3 or something else. But the nose guard ain't that solid guy. He won't stand a chance.
they're gonna run by you, then you're gonna try to do too much, bring the linebackers up, and they just gonna pass, and pass. And that's just
Yo,
what
they'll keep running. They won't pass. They'll keep running. If they neutralize that nose tackle,
that's real.
it's real easy
That's
to
real.
gain a lot of yards rushing.
That's real. And the Panthers saw it all last year. So hopefully we find an elite nose guard moving forward. But one thing I want to say is, Mr. Ted, I appreciate you for doing this, for coming on. You are welcome at any time on this show. Anytime you want to come and chop it up with me, talk ball, talk life, whatever you see. Even if it's like, hey, you saw a football game and you want to analyze it with me, you just let me know. You're always welcome. But like I said before, you were such a monster on the field, but off the field, you are one of the most passionate, warm-hearted, give the shirt off his back type of guy that I've known. I appreciate you for all you've done for me, for my family being part. I mean, I consider you blood at this point. We've known each other for so long.
Right on.
So I love you. I appreciate you, and I'll see you soon, man.
All right, you tell the family I say hello. Tell CC get that street house ready because we going to the range.
I will. I appreciate you. All right, Mr.
All
Ted.
right, man. Easy.
Hey, that was amazing. First off, thank you for everybody who was in here. We got over 60 people in here watching with us. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, join the pregame podcast because you never know who might be pulling up to the pregame. But another shout out to Mr. Ted, Ted Washington, for joining us. Like I said, the best nose tackle to ever touch grass. So I hope y'all enjoyed this as much as I did. We go live every Thursday at 7:30. We just did a little special for the Super Bowl, but it was dope to kind of hear his experience, his journey from Louisville to being a Super Bowl champion. So yeah, we might have to do that again. Maybe next time we'll do a live or something, but I know there's so many more stories that he has that we didn't dive into. But man, that was really fun. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I will see y'all next time. Y'all enjoy the Pro Bowl. We out of here. The Pro Bowl. Y'all enjoy the Super Bowl. We out of here. Peace.